Yes. Yes, guys. One of you, can you please start with the software distribution, what we discussed yesterday? Come on, guys. Any one of you? Yes, I. Go ahead.
Have discussed about the software collection.
Sai, your voice is very feeble.
Just a minute.
Yes, I. Sai, I don't know if you're on mute. We are not able to hear you. Okay. So can someone else take that? Anil?
I don't remember much about yesterday's class, sorry, about the software distribution. Yeah, creating packages and deploying them.
So what happened, guys? What happened to you, all of you? Okay. Do you have any questions from yesterday's class? This is strange, buddy. See, you guys must be either knowing the subject or not knowing the subject, right? If you know the subject, tell me. If you don't know the subject, ask me questions. If you're not doing both, then you're the ones who is going to get impacted.
Yesterday it was clear, but now I'm thinking about it. What are the topics we covered? It's blank for me. So I need to go through the class once.
Hmm. See, see what's happening is you guys have a luxury of the videos. In many classes, outside classes, you don't get these videos. So you have a luxury of videos. So you're relying on them, huh? Because even if you don't pay 100% attention on the class, you still have a recording and you can go through it at a later stage. Come on, guys. We just have 24 days. Okay, let's be more focused towards learning the subject. Okay, never mind. Let me do the recap. So what we discussed was what is that we wanted to distribute. So we wanted to distribute software. So when we say software, it's not just any one application. So even any scripts, even if it is an exe, MSI, batch file, right, appv files, or even some apps like your Android apps or iOS apps, right? So all this comes under applications. Now, in SCCM, when you wanted to push any one of those, right, we have to create either packages and programs or we have to create applications. I told you like packages and programs are something which were there for 2007, and starting with 2012 we have applications, right? And once we create either package and program or application, whom do you want to target? You should be either targeting the users or the devices, right? So in SCCM, what do? For them, you create a collection. And once you have the collection and you have the software ready, then how do you make sure that the end users get that? For that, you create an advertisement or deployment. So advertisement is the wording again back from 2007 and deployment is from 2012, right? 2012 onwards. Now, once you create this deployment piece, and associate this software to the collection, you need to also distribute the software to the local distribution points, so that when the client machines request for the software, the content, they will go to the local distribution point and download from there. So yesterday I took an example of VLC media player with 100 machines, and then you have those machines spread across Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, right? And this is how you do it. First you create a package in Sccm, then you create a single collection for all these 100 machines. You distribute the application to only to those DPs where you have your client machines, right? Where you have client machines who are requiring VLC media player. Say suppose even in Vijayawada, as I have taken down below, uh, there might be some there might be some 100 machines there, but if none of them requires VLC media player, there's no need of distributing the application to Vijayawada distribution point, because it is just waste of bandwidth as well as the uh, storage space or the footprint on the Vijayawada server. Now, and finally the deployment piece, that's what we talked about, right? You have the package name and the collection name, and then you schedule the deployment, right? And while doing this, we have discussed many options, right? Like there are so many drop down boxes, radio buttons, check boxes, there are many. So all those are just to give you a provision to handle different kinds of applications, right? Because in any organization there will be at least like 5,000 to 10,000 applications. So every time I go to any client's place to do say suppose any migrations, so I run specific tools, and as part of those tools always I get not less than 10,000 entries of applications from their inventory, right? So any organization, even they have just 5,000 machines or they have 1 lakh client machines, that's the common thing that I see. So but the later part is once you keep rationalizing those applications or standardizing, then you'll see, okay, in that end users environment you have AWS 7, 8, 9, 10 different kinds of versions. Similarly, they have same kind of functionality being used by different kind of different applications from different vendors. For example, PDF reader will be there, Adobe. Then will have a Qt PDF, then you'll have some soft PDF, okay, then you have your Microsoft reader for that PDF, like that. The same, the work is viewing a PDF file, but then you'll have from different vendors doing the same thing, right? Users keep on downloading their own the application that they are comfortable with. So like this, you'll have so many applications in an environment, and if you wanted to manage all those applications from SCCM, so each application behaves differently. So keeping that in mind, while you're creating these packages and programs or the applications, you have so many different um, provisions, right? So the only thing you need to know is you need to know why a particular checkbox is there, or why a particular, what does a particular drop-down box means. You should understand that. If you just have the understanding, that's enough. So going forward, as and when you get some real-time challenges, you'll understand, you'll know which box to check or which radio button to select, right? Fine. So then I've also talked a little bit on the DP groups, distribution point groups. So if you have, so in this environment, I just have one DP. So that's the reason we are not using DP groups. But in the real time, there will be something like 100, 200, or 500 DPs. I think that's the max I've seen. So if there are like 500 distribution points we have and they're spread across the globe, then obviously what you need to do here is you need to group them together based on their business or based on their location, so that next time when you wanted to distribute a particular application, right, instead of selecting all those out of 500, say suppose 150 DPs require that application, instead of checking 150 times, just put all of them into one DP group and select only once. So that way DP groups will help you. Fine. And I think, yep. And also what finally what we did, let me just give a space here and log workflow, right? So Finally, what we did was we actually created a package and a program for installing, if I'm not wrong, I think we did it for Adobe Reader, right? And we have installed, we have checked that once I've deployed, distributed, and done everything on the client machine, we were able to see the Adobe Reader, right? Now, uh, we have looked into the how the logs, how the things flow within these log files. So first of all, what happens? It goes to the okay, forget about the policy agents or downloading the policy that I've gone through with you multiple times, right? Talking to management point DP, blah blah blah. So I don't want to get into that stuff again and again. But what happens here is once it finally understands that it has to download from the DP, the first thing will be you have to look in the DTS uh, log file, data transfer services log file. So that's where the package ID, you need to search with the package ID. So it will say that, okay, for this package ID, that is for your Adobe Reader package ID, I'm going to create a DTS job, data transfer services job, right? So you can find a DTS job there. Now you take the DTS job from the DTS log, right? And then search with that DTS job in your content transfer manager log file. So when you go to that CTM log file, you'll find it says, okay, for your DTS job, this is the corresponding content transfer manager grid or the job that I've created, right? Now with the same with that CTM job, you'll check in the same log file. In the CTM log file, okay, you have created a new job file for it, CTM. So what is the status? So it will give you a granular status like, okay, I'm downloading the data, and okay, this is the if the downloading is pending, or if the download fails. So it gives you detailed data, and finally it shows us like downloading has successfully completed. Once it is downloaded and downloading is successfully completed, that means where do it download? It downloads to CCM cache, right? So once the downloading is completed, that's when it triggers the application, right? It triggers the command line. So it says, okay, now it's downloaded under CCM cache, so and so folder. So I'm triggering from here, and this is the command line. And if during the running the command line, if it throws any error, it will give you that error. Otherwise, it says exit code is equal to 0, successfully completed installing the application, right? So this is the workflow, and this is what we have discussed yesterday, guys. I think I've given enough, summary to just revision the entire subject. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, Manohar.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Thank you, guys. So just imagine. I know. Don't take me wrong when I say this sentence now. Okay. Just imagine you are facing an interview. Okay. You're facing an interview, and your interviewer asks a question kind of, what's the process for the software distribution? Okay. I would expect, even if I am the interviewer, I would expect somebody to just explain the way that I have explained right now without stumbling anywhere, and keep on going the workflow, saying that, okay, this is how it starts, this is the next process, this is the next process, and finally this is how it comes out. And these are the different various outputs it might. The moment you explain to him in this fashion, okay, using all the kinds of SCM terminologies, that's it, you hide. Right? I know that you all are already experienced. You must have attended multiple interviews, and you have knowledge how things go outside. But I'm just giving my 2 cents of knowledge, right? So please understand the subject, and with confidence talk every single time you get an opportunity. Take that opportunity and talk with confidence. That's the way to success, right? So let's proceed further with today's topic. Let me correct the spelling here. So since we are done with packages, let's do applications today. Hey guys, just give me a minute. I need to shut the door. Sorry for the disturbance from the background. So if you have to understand, if you have to appreciate applications, you need to first know the difference between packages and programs and applications, right? So let me give you a scenario now and see, let's see how you guys will take care of it. So for example, you need to deploy uh, Google Chrome, okay, to 64-bit Windows 10 machine, which is part of um, France desktops or France laptops OU, which is part of France laptops OU, and give me, so deploying Google Chrome to 64-bit Windows 10 machine, which is part of France laptops OU. Okay, take till here. So if this is what you're asked to, say suppose you have a OU called France laptops. This is just the name of a OU in a active directory. This is just an example, okay? Don't run behind this example. So this is a OU called France laptops, and you wanted to make sure that you are deploying Google Chrome to 64-bit Windows 10 machine, which is part of France laptop OUs. So how do you do that if you have packages and programs? Anyone? Even if you're wrong, that's okay.
So, Manoj, so basically we'll create a collection where we'll put all the France laptop devices.
So you'll put all the France laptop devices in the collection, okay? After that?
After that, we'll take the package. This is out of just speaking aloud.
Yes.
So, taking the package, I'll add that particular package to this collection.
Okay, you'll deploy the package to this collection.
Google Chrome, yeah, Google Chrome 60.
Okay, you'll deploy Google Chrome package to
the
France collection.
France collection, yeah.
Okay.
And this, I think that's it. Then just push the package, deploy the package.
So let's review together. So what you said is like you'll create a collection, you'll add all those France laptop devices, okay, France laptops, why again laptop device? You'll add all those France laptops to this collection, and then you'll deploy this Google Chrome package, which was already created, right, to the France collection, to this collection. Now, is it covering this part? Is it ensuring that these laptops are 64-bit? Is it ensuring that these laptops have Windows 10 OS on them? No, right? In France? Yep.
No.
So what do you do? What will you do for that?
So basically we'll have to select the ones which are Windows 10 and 64-bit laptops.
So when you say you need to select from where? You mean to say that manually you'll add only those laptops here, the 64 bits and Windows 10s?
No, that would be a tedious task because of the number of devices.
So what is the option that we have? Any ideas? Anyone else? Okay. So basically we have discussed about in collection you have two ways of adding them. One is a direct query, which is kind of manual adding almost. And then you have sorry, not a direct query, let me put a direct rule, which is directly adding them. The other one is a query rule, right? So in the query rule in a collection, what you can give is you can give different attributes. If you remember, guys. Let me pull.
You mentioned about how to select those options of devices with 64-bit options.
So let me cut this. Yeah, in collection query, if you remember, in the initial classes, what I've done is I've selected based on the operating system, Windows and Enterprise. You remember that? So I given the OS as an attribute there while creating a collection. So similarly, you can give the OU there or 64-bit architecture, right? So let that populate, then I'll show it to you. Device collections. So when you're creating a new device collection, or say suppose on the existing device collection, go to properties, membership rules. So in this membership rule, I'm talking about direct and query. So if you're going to do a query rule, so we've discussed like when you create an edit query statement here, you can give a criteria here, right? So criteria, so any new criteria, click this button. And if you remember here, so these are the different classes that you have in your WMI, right? And SCCM knows all these classes, right? Now, for you, if you require based on operating system, you can scroll down, you find something called MNOP operating system, right? You have operating system. So when you click operating system as a class, under that there are so many attributes, like it will tell you operating system, the current time zone there, what is the description in the class, or what is the build number of that operating system, like that there are so many. So basically what we need is we need the name of the operating system. You can select name, or you can also select the caption, right? So both means the same. So if you select the caption, okay, so it should be equal to Windows 7 Enterprise, or if in my case here I just have one machine talking to my SCCM server, and that one machine has Windows 7 Enterprise. That's the reason it is showing only one entry. In production, if you have 1 lakh clients and there are different operating systems, maybe 6 different operating systems, it will show all the 6 different operating systems here, right? So basically you can select the operating system. So now my query rule says that any machine whose operating system caption is equal to or name is equal to Windows 7 Enterprise, that machine should be part of this collection. The moment you say okay, that's what is going to happen here, right? So similarly, you can write a different query wherein you can select. You can write multiple queries here. Okay, so for example, I say okay and name this query as OS name. Okay, so now there is a OS name query. Now I want to add one more query. I can add one more query, and this time I want to find the OS architecture. Edit query statement, go to criteria, click add new, select. This time attribute class, again you go back to the OS thing because you want the OS architecture, right? Operating system. This time you'll find OS architecture here, right? So click there, say okay, should be equal to value. Okay, here you don't find anything. So you can also put your own value here, something like, if you're not sure, percentage 64 percentage. Somewhere there it will have 64 in the string, right? So you can select that way and say okay. So now what it means? So any operating system whose OS architecture instead of is equal to, we don't know, should be like, right? Because why I'm putting is like, because I don't know how the architecture value is there in the database, right? It could be x64 or x64 processor, some information might be there. So since I'm not aware of that, I'll put percentage 64 percentage. It should be like percentage 64 percentage, right? If you have such kind of a value, then put all those machines as part of this collection. So basically, if you see my question here, my question is, how do you identify 64-bit machines? How do you identify the operating system name? And how do you identify the machine is part of a particular OU? So even for organizational unit, I can add one more query. Okay, say suppose even if you don't know under which class you will have this information, we all have Bing and Google, right? So out of experience you will know it. Otherwise, in the initial days you can always search what is a WMI class for OS architecture, what is a WMI class for organizational unit, Active Directory OU. Like that you can just do a Bing or Google and you will definitely find the class and the attribute there, right? Let me search for OU. I think I know that, but lately I've not come down to this query, OU query. So let me look for that. Right now I'm not able to find, but that shouldn't stop you from getting what you want. You can always do a Bing. You'll know. See, even you have this processor thing, right? Again, here also you'll have the architecture of the processor. So let me do a quick search if you can find out. List of history, configuration manager client. I think sometimes in the computer system as well, you'll have the location but not the exact OU. So yeah, even that will work. Yeah, why not? So let me go to computer system and in the attributes, let me check for the do we have a location somewhere here? Username, roles. You have the domain. Okay, I don't want to waste further time here, but yes, definitely you'll get it in one of these classes. So you can get that information from here. Username, yep, you can get that information from here. Okay, and the moment you select all these different, you keep all these different queries here. So instead of adding manually and adding manually the France laptops, you can do this way. See, there is, say suppose if we add all those France laptops manually, still the other two queries that I've shown, you can still apply those two queries. So what will happen? Out of all those France laptops that you have added, it will only filter down the 64-bit and Windows 10 machines, right? So even that way, the collection will now have the exact target that you wanted. Either you can do through manually or through query. Once that is done, so what Amar said is true, that you just deploy the Google Chrome package to the France collection. Right, guys? So I want you to memorize this for some time so that I want to come back to applications and tell you how applications will benefit you in this case. So Amar, I want to have a dialogue with someone. So Amar,
Yeah, Manav.
right. So Amar, so what we just did, so we created a collection and you are putting all these different kinds of requirements that you have as part of the collection scope, right?
Right.
Okay. And then you're deploying the Google Chrome package to the particular collection so that your actual objective is met, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now my question here is, how does this collection will read all this information? From where is the collection getting this information, right? The query that we just did. So where is it actually querying? It is querying the database, right?
Right.
This information, which is as part of hardware inventory, all this information is pulled from the WMA of your client machines, and this information as part of hardware inventory is sent to the server, and server is writing back in the database, right? Now, when you're
Right.
querying this, you're actually querying the database, or you can say that you're querying the WMA database. Okay, so you're getting this,
Right.
you're getting this information. Now, say suppose a particular machine has not sent the hardware inventory, or the hardware inventory of that particular machine is old. That means a laptop was at once it was a part of France, but right now it is part of Italy. But since the last hardware inventory was sent some 1 week back, and it knows the SCM only knows that this machine is still part of France laptops. It doesn't know that it has moved to another OU, right? So in
Okay.
collection, what is that we are depending on? We are depending on hardware inventory information, right?
Okay.
Now, what will happen in case of application? In case of application, what will happen? The thing remains same, that you create a Google Chrome application, okay, and you'll have a collection, right? So in this collection, what you'll have, instead of doing a collection query there you'll put all systems, doesn't matter. In application, you have something called requirements. In that requirements, you can select within the application, okay, in the requirements you can select it should be part of it should have 64-bit architecture, it should have Windows 10 machine, and then it should be part of this France laptops. So that query you can have it here. Instead of having on collection, you can have that query in the application. And this application requirements, this is not depending on the hardware inventory. It is fetching this data in real time. It is actually querying your end user machine the moment the deployment touches the end user machine. So it will check, okay, in real time it will check, are you 64-bit? Are you a Windows 10 machine? Are you part of France laptop OU? If you are so and so, then only I'm going to download this and install this application. So the requirements are now fetching the data real time, and instead of you writing the everything in the collection query, right, in the application requirements, while creating the application itself, you'll put that requirement. So tomorrow, even a server is added into this collection by default, that doesn't harm you because your application knows that where it has to go. Guys, are you able to understand the difference between package and application?
Manoj, but in both the cases it works, right? Now, let it be a hardware inventory or if we put this criteria in the hardware inventory itself,
Mm-hmm.
stating it's 64-bit and Windows 10
Mm-hmm.
for all the French laptop OU.
Mm-hmm.
So even in both the scenarios it works, right? What major difference we could see? See, because any of the computer hardware inventory also we are going to refresh it or update it, right? The membership and
Mm-hmm.
any devices which are not no longer having this criteria will be removed from that.
Yes. So I'll explain that part. So basically what will happen is, if you're depending on hardware inventory and if you're directly going with the real time, okay. So first of all, both the routes are good, okay. Both the routes will take you to your destination. Fine. There's no doubt about it. Now I'm talking about this is something which is 2007 model and this is something 2012 model. So what's the difference between this? So what Microsoft has come up, why Microsoft has come up with this application is considering the real-time issues with the packages, like say suppose how frequently your hardware inventory is collected in general.
Say if it's scheduled at every 1 hour, refresh at 1 hour.
No, by default hardware inventory is scheduled for to run once in 7 days, once in
7
a week,
days.
right? So you cannot make it so aggressive to run all these 10,000 machines. If you have all the 10,000 machines to keep on sending its inventory every 1 hour, that's going to impact your server and also the bandwidth, right? So the maximum what we can do is, if you don't want it in 7 days, maybe you can put it in 1 day, right? That's the maximum you can do. Means you can always put it less than to even 5 minutes. That's a different story. But the point here is, what is that you're achieving from this? Because even the hardware inventory will take to run and give that information. It itself will take some 5 minutes, and now you're collecting this from some 10,000 machines. So every single minute, some machine or the other one, we would be keep on still running the hardware inventory. And by the time the hardware inventory is completed, and from all these 10,000 machines, already a second cycle would be already in progress for other set of machines. This way, you're impacting your entire performance, right, guys? You agree with me, right?
Yes.
So you can't be that aggressive. You'll have 1 day hardware inventory. Now, what is your collection update? Update membership will happen, right? So the collection update cycle, how frequently it will update? By default, it is also once in 7 days
Is
actually.
this 1 hour? No.
No, actually even this is once in 7 days.
7 days. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to your collection, occurs every 7 days, right? That's the frequency of the collection update. So even if this is happening once in 7 days and you make it like, because this is just one collection, okay, you think, okay, it is only one collection, it's not affecting all my 10,000 machines, only one collection I'm going to keep on update, right? So let me make it 1 hour, right? So once in 1 hour. So every 1 hour you're doing it. Now, even though you're doing it every 1 hour, what is the latest data it has? It has only 1 day's back data, right? Now, think about something like this. You have added some new 64-bit machines to France laptop OU on 20th May, that is today morning, 10 o'clock, right? And actually you are expecting to install this Chrome application. That you're expecting that before handing over those laptops to the end users, you wanted to install some application like Chrome. It could be anything. You wanted to hand over that application to the end user. But what will happen is, in reality, before this hardware inventory is run on all these machines, some new, right? So say suppose you have some 100 machines. So before the hardware inventory runs on all these 100 new machines, right? Uh, the hardware inventory to run on all these 100 new machines and then updating the collection cycle will take almost like 1 day plus 1 hour, right? So that means at least till 21st May, it is fair to say that 21st May till 11 o'clock in the morning, you will not have all these 100 machines added to that collection. Maybe some 70, 80 meanwhile, as and when the hardware inventory is completed and as and when the collection update is happening, maybe slowly one by one machine will be keep on adding to this particular collection. But until 21st May, 11 o'clock, not all 100 machines will be added. Do you agree with me, Amar?
Yes, Manu.
Right? So you're giving a laptop to the end user, okay, but you are giving the applications that are required to him because of the kind of collection update delay. You're giving them only after next day, only tomorrow. That's when you are able to give them the applications, right? So in reality, what will happen is, though it might sound to you like 1 day is not a big deal, but in reality, what will happen, that itself is enough to raise so many tickets and escalations in the background. Okay, so sometimes it is very critical application. Today we are talking about Chrome is an example that is not that critical, but sometimes it is a production application which is very critical. Okay, sometimes an application needs to be upgraded immediately. The moment you are giving them a Windows 10 machine, you have upgraded them from Windows 7 to Windows 10, right? And you wanted to have them some application. So by the time this collection update will run, so it is going to take ages. Like even 1-2 days is too much of delay. By the time you will be getting so many tickets saying that, okay, I still did not get my application, or my users are affected, their productivity is at loss, right? So to avoid that, considering the current employees and I mean to say the current way of the work culture, right? So everybody wants everything immediately, right? Considering that, in applications, what we did, we can still create a collection query, we can still depend on packages and programs, we can do that. But the moment you have all those requirements, put it in the application and not in the collection, all these things are happening in the real time. That means now I add 100 new machines to France laptop OU on 20th May, 10 o'clock, right? Now what will happen, the moment my Chrome deployment will start and hit the collection or hit the machine, immediately it will check on that machine, it will check, are you a 64-bit? Are you a Windows 10 machine? Or are you part of France laptop? The moment it says yes, the application is deployed to it. That way it is immediate. It's real time. So that's the difference. Here it is waiting for the hardware inventory to complete, the collection update cycle to complete, and if you really look at it, you have so many things in the background. After collection update cycle is completed, machine policy, which again will take once in 60 minutes. Only then the client machine will know that a policy is for waiting for it, right? So there are so many dependencies which are there, and after machine policy, again downloading the data. If it is a big application, like it is 1 GB application, downloading the data from its local DP, that itself will take some time, and then installing the application will take time. So basically what will happen is, by the time a end user requests, he requests for an application, okay, so a department request for an application, by the time they get it, it's like too much of delay. By the end of the day also, you will not be able to send that application to them. So wherever possible, if you can cut down the time, SCM has come up with that. That's where the application requirements will help you. Guys, is this make sense to you?
So basically in the application part, what you explained now, Manor, still it won't take much time, like automatically fetches this information, the machine policy and all. At the back end, it will still be getting updated, right? The machine policy.
Yeah, see, still these two factors, machine policy and downloading the data, they still hold good for any application for that matter, for whether you're creating an application or package. So that's what I'm telling. The difference here is in the hardware inventory and collection update cycle. That's where you're saving time here, right? So wherever possible, we are trying to cut down the time. So this is possible. We can cut down instead of waiting for the collection to get updated, or instead of waiting for the hardware inventory. Right? So there you can directly query the machines in the real time. So that's where it is. That's where it is saving this time.
Okay.
Anil, Manju, and Sai, are you able to understand the example and what I'm trying to say here, or is it going Greek and Latin? Come on, guys. This is not a CBT nugget. I'm not somebody who's talking on YouTube. You don't need to respond to a YouTube video.
It's a bit confused, Manohar, actually.
You need to speak up.
Still, I am not understanding.
See, if it is a bit confused, let me tell you, not only to Anil, to everyone I'm telling you, if it is confused, please, why don't you ask the question? See, my part, let me stop the recording for a moment.
Well, our exactly requirement is 100 laptops, right? Can you show me that question once?
Sure. So deploy Google Chrome to machines which are 64-bit, and they are Windows 10 machines, and they are part of the France Laptops OU.
Fun. Actually, I understand like it's for 100 laptops. Okay, fine then. Because even in application also, we are just querying about 64-bit. But how we can identify those 100 targeted machines, I thought. So yeah, it's clear for me now.
Cool.
It's clear for me now.
Okay. I just wanted, that's what I wanted you to think about it and keep asking me pointed questions. Sometimes what will happen, the point when you are framing the question itself, you'll understand the answer, you'll get the answer, right? So keep asking the questions, or that way it will help you. Don't take me wrong, guys, please.
Yeah.
Manju?
Yeah. So I'm most of the time I am talking means somebody also will be simultaneously talking. So I'm just taking a bit more pause. And actually I just understood, but since I'm trying to think practically, I'm blank. So I'm just maybe I'll try to go with the session which is recorded. Then I'll try to apply. Then I will have some questions. I think. For now, I'm unable
See,
to.
I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one thing. See, Manju. See, there are two ways of learning. See, people will learn from the books. People will learn from doing it practically, right? So when you're reading a book, you need to assume few things because there is everything theoretical, right? You need to assume few things and first try to understand. Okay, say suppose if something is like this, whether the theoretical part you're clear or not. In the theoretical part, we are talking about logics here. We are talking about a logic. We are talking about how packages and programs will work and how applications is going to help you there. So theoretically, if you understand, definitely I'm going to show you this part now. Right now itself, I'm going to create a collection. I'm going to create an application for Google Chrome, and I'll create all these requirements on the application instead of creating them on the collection, because you already seen this part. The above part you have already seen, right? So the below part, anyways, I'm going to show you in today's class itself. So what I wanted you to understand is at least the theory part. What is the difference he is talking about? What is Manohar talking about? What's the difference between package and programs and application? How is it actually really helping us? Right? If you can understand the theory part, I'll show you the practical today itself, and I think you'll be able to, even if you have any 10% of doubt, so that will get resolved the moment you see the physical console. Right, Manju?
Yeah. Overall, once I'll go through it, then I will be able to tell you, because right now I'm having a confusion where I'm unable to decide. So if I'm seeing the practical and always and as well I'm comparing the theoretical, then may I will be able to tell you. I think if I have any questions or anything, I can just ask you right away. Not I'll not make a delay.
Okay, okay, okay. Sai, are you clear? I think you have issues with the mic. I understand. Fine, no issues. So let me show this part to you. Actually, I thought of explaining some 4 or 5 differences between package and programs and application. Then when we create the application, I think you will understand all those 4 or 5 differences together. That's what I thought. Okay, so let me give a heading to this. This is requirements. Whether putting it in the collection or putting in the application itself. That's what you're going to learn. Okay, this is one difference I'm talking about. Let me talk about at least 2 to 3 other differences, because the moment we create application, there's no way to segregate each one of them and give a separate example. The moment I take one example, all of them will be covered. So let me take one more example here, one more difference. Let me put a scenario to you. Say suppose.
Manohar, is the recording already there?
Yeah, the record, it started. I've started the recording.
Yeah, go ahead with one or two examples. So I think I will be able to have any question or if I.
No, what I'm telling now is a different difference, a different thing.
Yeah, example, different example. Understood.
Okay, okay. So, for example, if you have Adobe Reader 8 on 10 machines, okay. So this is a real-time scenario I'm talking about, and you have then Adobe Reader 9 on 90 machines, right? You need to make sure that you have to uninstall on all these 100 machines, and you want to have the final end goal is you need to have Adobe Reader 11 on all 100 machines. This is the scenario that you asked to. So in your company, so what they have asked you is, Manju, find out what are the machines.
Can you not to take a similar application, take a other different application name, maybe like Office and then AutoCAD, something like that. Not the license version, maybe a normal version. And Adobe Reader View, that it will.
Okay, does this
Yeah.
make sense to you?
No, like individually all different applications.
No, 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 no.
10
No, 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 no. The actual intention of this is the same application, because you'll understand once you understand my question,
no,
then you'll understand this.
okay.
It should be the same application, because the question here is they will ask you in your environment, if they ask you like find out how many machines have Office 2010, how many machines have Office 2013, and replace all of them with Office 2016. So we don't want any more Office 2010 and 2013. We want everybody to be on Office 2016. So that's the question. So in that case, you should have the same application, right? You wanted to upgrade everybody to a latest application. You getting my point?
Yeah, behind asking my such kind of requirement, because all the time you will not be 100% sure that a client will ask an easy thing to us.
Nobody.
They will come back.
Manju,
Yeah,
Manju.
yeah,
See, try to understand the kind of example why I'm giving is it is in line with a particular feature in Sccm, a particular feature in application. There's a feature in application which is talking here about is the same application like Office 2010. Say suppose you some of them have Office 2010. Okay, some of them has Office 2013. You want to upgrade them to Office 2016. So I cannot take three different applications here like Office 2010, AutoCAD, and some other application. It is the same application. Your management wants them to be upgraded to the latest version.
okay, okay.
You're getting my point. So
Yeah, yeah.
in your environment, there are the same application, there are different versions, and they wanted all those older versions to be scrapped out, and they wanted a latest version of the same application, right? So that you have a standard version across your machine. So this is not a this is not a simple example. So it is the real-time scenario what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so you are going to answer me. So please unmute yourself. You're going to answer this particular example. So in your environment, if they ask you to install 2016 on 100 machines, okay, and they ask you like to find out how many of them are 2010, 2013, and install 2016, what is that you are going to do using Sccm? I want you to answer, Manju.
You know, these all I'm going to use it via like I'll get a ready package or application, then
Mhm.
applying the rules, the quick what is it, credit rule and the querying. So like that way,
No, no, let me note it down whatever you're saying. So you're saying that you'll create a package for Office 2016. Okay, then you create a collection and you want to put a query there. So what query you want to put there?
related to the, this application, in particularly how many machines I have, so that I'm going to pull a report from the all computers desktop operations.
So are you going to pull a report, or we are talking about the collection query, right? So maybe in the collection query you'll write something like where the application Office 2010 is installed. So those machines, any machine where Office 2010 is installed, that should be part of this collection. Similarly, any machine where the application Office 2013 is installed, that should be part of this collection, right? So basically what you're telling is if a application has Office 2010, sorry, if a computer has Office 2010 installed, or if a computer has Office 2013 installed, all those computers should be part of this collection. Are we on the same page, Manju? That's what you will do, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now in your collection, you have 2010 machines and 2013 machines. Tell me now, what is the next thing that you're going to do?
So as soon as I get a report,
We-
I
We're not,
have
we're not, we're not
okay.
talking, we're not talking about any reports here. We are just given a query. So by that you got a collection of machines in, right? You got a collection of machines where Office 2010 and Office 2013 are installed. All those 100 machines are now part of a collection. Next.
Then I'm going to deploy the. I mean, I just forgot the actual question that how many machines. I just repeat it. Correct me if I'm going out of
No,
data.
I'll repeat the question. I'll repeat the question. So identify machines with older versions of Office, uninstall older version, and install Office 2016 is the task given to you. Identify machines with older version of Office, uninstall older versions, and install Office 2016 on those machines. So that is the target, that is the task given to you. So what I'm saying is out of those older versions, there are 2010 some 10 machines, 2013 90 machines. This is what you know. Now what is that you're going to do?
Okay, so I'm going to create another rule with on the package saying that uninstall those old version uh, and then again same way installation also similar way of steps I would be repeating for creating the web package to install.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, so you're telling that because in packages we don't have rules, we have programs. So maybe what you meant to say is you'll create a program for uninstall older version. You'll create a program, right, which will uninstall the Office 2010
Yeah.
and Office 2013. So you'll create a program for uninstall. Then you'll create one more program which will install new version of, that is, instead of new version I'll put Office 2016, right? Am I correct, Manju?
Before when, yeah, correct. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah, yeah.
go with the flow. So what is that you're going to do? So you have created a package, you have created a collection, you have created two programs. Now you will deploy this program first, right? And make sure that Office is uninstalled on all these machines, right? So you'll have a uninstall deployment, a deployment to uninstall it. And once all the machines, the deployment say come back saying that successfully uninstalled, then you'll send one more deployment, which is the second program. You will send this program to all the client machines saying that install deployment. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so that by that you're making sure that all the older versions are uninstalled and newer versions are Office 2016 is installed on all the 100 machines. Right, right, Manju?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So before I proceed with applications, I want to hear from Anil. Anil was saying something. Yeah, Anil, go ahead.
Yeah, nothing like a pre-requested program. We can use this uninstall always run in the first, then install. So it will comes in a one package, right?
So perfect. So what Anil says, so you have in program you have a dependency, right? So what he's asking, maybe in the program dependency, why don't you select uninstall as a dependency for install? So here, run another program first. You remember that? Yesterday we talked about run another program first. So he's saying, why don't you put run another program first and put this particular program, I'll name it. I'll say this as program 1 and this as program 2. So he says in program, sorry, he says in program 2, why don't you give program 1 as the dependent thing. So now what will happen? Program 1 will run first, so that it will uninstall, and then program 2 will run. So in this model, you don't need to have two deployments. So you remove this uninstall deployment. You still need to create two programs, but you don't need to have two deployments. You'll just have install deployment. Right, Anil? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, Manu.
Perfect. Uh, guys, any other sessions that you have before I proceed with application? Any other improvisation that you can do to save some time? Yeah, Amar, go ahead.
Manoj, so basically once we create this collection query, we'll discover the hardware also, right? And then we are going to set this program.
Hardware in the sense, I didn't understand.
Discover the devices which has Office 2010 and Office 2013.
Mm-hmm. You have already discovered all these devices. The devices are already there in your all systems collection. Now, when you have created this new
Okay.
collection, what you are telling is out of this all system collection, all systems, okay, how many machines have Office 2010 installed? So that is actually querying the hardware inventory. That means you should already have the hardware inventory ready.
All right.
Yep, go ahead. Okay, so now my point is already we discussed about how to avoid this collection query and how to go to application requirements, right? Now I'm not talking about that. That was the earlier example. So instead of querying the hardware inventory and getting this information, how you can put this in the requirements. That is a different thing. Now I'm not discussing about it. Now my point here is in application, how to do this in applications. in applications, what will happen is, before I go with applications, tell me one thing. So how did you deploy Office 2010 on those machines, those 10 machines? How did you deploy Office 2010? You must have created a package and program like this earlier also. Similarly, for Office
Yeah,
2013, you must have created one package and program earlier also for Office 2013 as well, right?
yeah. It will be there in the source, and we have pointed it that will, if it is already present, that would be can be used. Yeah.
Okay, so that means what I was trying to tell you here is, so maybe though you are creating a new package for Office 2016, already there were couple of package for Office 2013 and Office 2010. Already there were packages. That's the reason all these 100 machines got those 2010, 2013. Some you already have a different package for that, right? So just keep that in mind. Now let's go with the applications. So in applications, what you'll do, we'll assume the same thing. There is an application already available for Office 2010. Similarly, there is one more application already available for Office 2013. Now the task for you is to create a new application for 2016, right? For Office 2016, and the task is the same task. Identify machines with older versions of Office and uninstall the older version and install Office 2016. So now what you will do here is, after you create the application for Office 2016, okay, you will have a collection. In that collection, don't give any queries, just say all systems. Let all systems be there in the collection. Now, in the application for Office 2016, what you'll do, you have something called supersedence. In the supersedence, you will give, if wherever Office 2010 is deployed, supersede that with Office 2016, with the new application. Similarly, wherever Office 2013 is deployed, supersede that with Office 2016. So basically what I'm telling is, if Office 2010 is already targeted to 10 machines, on all those 10 machines, identify wherever Office 2010 is installed. So on all those 10 machines, automatically supersede that application that the 2010 is now expired. Supersede that with 2016. So what will happen on all these 10 machines? Automatically redeployment will happen and 2016 will install. On all those 90 machines, wherever 2013 is there, you are saying that 2013 is now expired. Just supersede that with 2016. So there is an option in the application while creating supersedence. You'll say, okay, this is the older version and this is the new version. So automatically it will say that, okay, my older version is targeted to 90 machines. Let me rerun the deployment on all these 90 machines, and this time I will say that, okay, 2013 is expired. I will install 2016 on all of them. So this way, just by creating supersedence link, you're just putting a link in the application, right? Just by creating the supersedence, automatically you don't need to create any collection query or anything. It will identify those 10 machines where 2010 is installed, redeploy 2016 on them, identify those 90 machines where 2013 is installed, and redeploy 2016 on them. You want me to explain once again? I'll do it, because this is for the first time we are talking about supersedence.
Uh, yeah, I just confused. I didn't understand from the supersedence. After that, I just confused.
Okay, let me put this part down below here and explain on that. So what I'm trying to say is, first we'll go with little bit of assumptions, like Office 2010 application is already there, right, Manju?
Yeah.
And it is already deployed to 10 machines using a install deployment. You are with me, Manju?
Yes.
Okay, so Office 2010 application was already there. It is already there. It is already deployed to 10 machines using a install deployment. Similarly, you already have Office 2013 application in SCM console, and it is already deployed to 90 machines using another install deployment. So this is install deployment 1, and you have install deployment 2. So using another deployment, to 90 machines, 2013 application is already deployed. Now, while creating Office 2016 application, you have an option in this application, you have an option to select that wherever 2010 is targeted, okay, replace 2010 with 2016 there. Wherever 2013 is targeted, replace 2013 with 2016. That's what supersedence is doing. So you're not creating one more deployment. You're not doing any uninstall deployment. You're not again creating one more program for uninstall and install. All you're doing is wherever you find 2010, simply replace that with 2016. So what will happen on all these 10 machines? Now it will automatically go and say that, okay, if you already have 2010, I'm going to uninstall and install 2016. If you already have 2013, I'm going to uninstall and install 2016. So in the application, it is going in the deployment that is which is already there. It is just replacing this 2010 application and putting 2016 there, replacing 2013 and putting 2016 there. Guys, are you able to understand?
And how that new
Go ahead, Manju.
yeah, and how that new software are getting linked here for that to get replaced?
Yeah, that is the new feature in applications. So in application, that's a new feature which is called supersedence. So that's a new feature. So I'll show it that to you, but just assume that there is a checkbox. When you click on that checkbox, automatically it will link old application to new application. It will replace the old application with new application. For that, assume that for now, just assume there is a checkbox. When you click on a checkbox,
Yeah,
automatically old application will be replaced with new application.
yeah, it got cleared. It is there.
Right. So this way, all these 100 machines are getting the Office 2016, wherein what are the steps you are saving here? You don't need to create an uninstall program. You don't need to create a separate install program, right? And you don't need to have a collection query to identify which machines has 2010, which machine has 2013. You don't need to have any collection query, right? And also you don't need to have any run another program first. So you're replacing all these steps with just one step, one checkbox, which is called supersedence. In Office 2016, just do that supersedence. Automatically, all those 10 and 90 machines will get 2016. Clear?
On our 10, we'll have to give the older package IDs or the uninstall product ID, right? Those
No,
would still remain.
no. You don't need to give the product IDs. In Sccm console, while creating the supersedence, you'll have a browse button. You browse and select the old Office 2010 application. You'll select browse and you browse and you select the old Office 2013 application. Just the application which is already in the console. You'll just select that application.
But in an uninstaller package, it is associated to a specific product ID or I think the SID. I'm not sure. Not aware about the package part, but there is a reference key. So suppose Adobe Acrobat version 8 will have a specific product ID and it will look and uninstall
Yes.
those.
So that will happen in the background. So you are not worried about selecting the product ID in the console. In the console, all that you are selecting is I want 2010 application. I want 2013 application to be replaced with 2016. So that's the only thing you select in the console. In the background, it will see that, okay, what is the product ID of 2013? So accordingly, I will uninstall the product ID from the client machine. Then I'll install 2016 on top of it. So that thing will happen in the background. But as far as the SCM
So
administrator is
product,
concerned, yeah.
sorry, the product ID is unique for the application name, or will it be based on the different organizations? It'll have different product IDs
That
for the
depends.
same.
That depends. See, for example, if you're downloading, if everybody is using from Microsoft website, you just download the Office 2010 MSI, and if you're directly
Yeah,
using it as is, then the product ID
yeah.
would remain same. But if you're downloading from there and then you're repackaging it, right? You're repackaging the application with your application packager is making some changes to the MSI. So then he can recapture it and he will get a new product ID in that case. So that depends on,
But in a
yeah.
in a traditional way, it is getting repackaged. All the organizations are repackaging it. Only after Windows 10 and uh, wherein the cloud applications, cloud services have come into picture, and those repackaging options are now getting faded off.
That's true. What you said is true, but I'll give a small difference here in repackaging and recapturing. So in repackaging, what will happen when you're downloading an application from vendor website, most of the times the application packager, he will not recapture it altogether. He'll still have the same product ID, everything same as is. Only thing he'll do is make some settings changes in the same application. Like I want it to have our company logo, some organization name, okay, or maybe this particular setting should be enabled, this should be disabled. Like that, he'll make some changes. That means he's actually using the same MSI and making few changes to it or creating a MST for that. So that's a different story. Then the product ID will remain same. That is just repackaging. But if they're recapturing, that means what they will do is they will install this application on a plain machine. They will take a Windows 7 VM. On that VM, they'll first run this Admin Studio. Admin Studio is an application to capture MSI. So they'll run Admin Studio on that machine. Then they will install our MSI, right? Then they'll capture it. So basically what it will do is it will try to identify before installing the application, after installing the application, what are the changes that happened on Windows 7 machine. All those changes are captured into an MSI file. So that means you're actually recapturing and creating your own MSI file, right? In that case, the product ID will change. Most of the companies, they just do repackaging. They don't do recapturing. If you're doing recapture, that means the MSI product ID itself is getting changed. Amar, you are with me?
Yes, Manoj. But here you have an option automatically to select Office 2010 or Office 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I then? First thing is I have to identify whether it is the same
No need.
product ID.
No need. Okay. Park that question for now. Once we create the application, you'll understand that. Park that question for a couple of minutes. Okay. I see the confusion, but I can explain it once we look at it in the practical thing. Anil, I see you raised a hand.
Yeah, Manor, like, see, at the time of 2010 and 13, I doesn't have the SCCM architecture, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So recently I have implemented SCCM and now I'm going for an 16 installation.
Mm-hmm.
Then this supersedent will work because I doesn't have any objects of this application 10 or 13.
Perfect. That's a good way of thinking it. So first thing, in SCCM, what will happen is when you are migrating from 2007 to 2012, you will have an option to convert your packages to applications when you're migrating from 2007 to 2012. So that way what will happen, if you are opting for that, all your packages and programs will automatically be converted into applications in 2012. If you opt that, if you still want to go with package and programs, you can say, okay, I don't want to convert. That's a different story. But to answer your question, even if you have a package and program which was built in 2007, when you're migrating, you can select convert them to applications. So now you will have 2010 application and 2013 application in your environment. That's the first part of it. The second part of your question is, see, the kind of feature we are talking about supersedence is not only for the older applications. If you start building that culture right from now itself, say suppose 2012 was released in 2012, now it is 2017. So there must be so many applications which you have created after migrating to SCM 2012. So this will help you even for the future generations. Right, whenever Adobe comes with a latest version, or whenever SAP comes with the latest version, so every time instead of uninstalling the applications and installing the application, you just click the supersedence. So automatically it will pick and uninstall and reinstall the latest version. So for the applications which are created after SCCM 2012, it helps. Even before SCCM 2012, you can just convert the package to applications during migration itself. 2007 to 2012 migration itself, you will have that option. Make sense, Anil?
Yes, but actually my question is, if I doesn't have an architecture of SCCM when I'm installing Office 2010 and 13 in my organization.
Okay. Got it. Okay, if that's the scenario that you don't have, you haven't deployed these applications altogether from SCCM, then there's no other way. Then you have to go back with your collection query. So you'll not talk about supersedence. This feature is only helpful when you already have an application and you want to replace that. If you don't have an application, all you will do is in the collection query, you'll put, okay, just identify all the machines with 2010 and 2013 and install 2016 on them.
Oh.
Make sense? So supersedence is only when you already have a package or application or something of that nature, you're superseding that with the latest one. If you don't have a package or application, then there's no point of supersedence. Make sense?
Yes,
Yeah, Amar?
Manohar.
Yeah, Amar, you're asking something?
Yeah, Manohar, now the query which I was asking clarifies, because what I was trying to think is that 2010 and 2013 are the default, the application within the SCCM. These are the default packages which are already available. Now, since this is a migrated one which has already been deployed in the organization, yes, then that will have its own product ID. This clarifies my doubts.
Okay, okay, great. I'm happy that even your doubt is got clarified. Manju and Sai, I think you have the mic problem. Manju?
Yeah.
Okay, I can say, I can see that ambiguity. I can sense the ambiguity in your yeah. Little bit of
No, no,
confusion is still there.
no confusion. Like we are in the discussion of that supersedent, and so he was started solving other queries now. So I'm still there only. So if you continue, then I'll be continuing with any queries if you have.
Okay, okay, sure, buddy, sure. So that ends supersedence part. So I'll again show this also to you. I'm just trying to explain you the differences between package and application so that I can show all of them at a time while creating an application. Okay. One more query, one more thing. Okay, let me take one new example. So say suppose you are asked to install, give me any one application name, guys, one of you.
Dream Center.
We're going with Team Center. Okay, I don't know whether it is CNT or CNTRE. Okay, install Team Center. I don't know the version, so let me assume 2016 is the latest version. Install Team Center 2016 on a fixed target. They are giving you some 500 machines. They told you, okay, on these 500 machines you need to install Team Center 2016. Okay, but the point here is there are two things they're asking you. The task is ensure that you are not installing or reinstalling on these machines. That means they don't know out of this 500 if Team Center 2016 is already installed for few machines. We don't know whether it is already installed. If it is already installed, don't reinstall it. Okay, because some of my users have already manually installed it, or they might have installed from scripts or whatever from GPO. They might have already installed. Some of them already have Team Center. So I don't know who have Team Center, who doesn't have Team Center. So while installing these application, so just make sure that you're not reinstalling it. Don't uninstall and reinstall and repair that application. I only want you to check where the application is not there out of these 500 machines and install only on those machines. Okay. And the second task, the second ask from the management is after installing, ensure that the application is really installed or completely installed. Say suppose Team Center, how many of you have worked on batch files or know how batch files work?
Yeah, working batch file, I'm not sure, but yeah, batch file how it works, like just an executable file which has a code to run software silently at the backend, and it finishes as soon as it finishes. It won't give any message or information. Just the application will appear after installation.
Perfect. So basically what will happen in a batch, you rightly summarized it, Manju. So basically what will happen is in a batch, as the name says batch, so you'll put 1, 2, 3 applications. You can say, okay, first install this application, second this, third this. So what batch file will do, if you put 1 or 2 applications there, it will trigger one application, then it will trigger the second application, and then it says batch file completed successfully. It will come out. You will not see it anywhere in the command prompt or anywhere. I mean to say in the task manager, if you see, you don't find it there. Maybe if you open a command box, it will say that it has completed successfully. but in the background the actual application will be still running. It is not yet completed because this is just taking the control or releasing the control. Once it triggers, batch files job is done. It is not waiting for the application to successfully complete, or it will not giving you any kind of information that the application is successfully completed, right? So in such applications, what will happen? You'll not know whether the application is really completed or not, or it is still running in the task manager, or it failed after, say, suppose batch has triggered one exe, setup.exe. After that, batch came out saying that application you will think that the application is successfully completed, but in the background the setup.exe will run for another 5 minutes, and later because of some other reason it failed. You'll never know that the application is failed until unless you go to the event viewer logs or see in the add remove programs that the application is not installed. Unless you'll not know that, right? Guys, you all are on the same page on this point of batch files, or you have a different
Yes, Manu.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, so that's the reason here they're asking us two questions. One, ensure that you are not reinstalling on these machines. So I don't know out of this 500 machines how many machines have applications, so I don't know. So on those machines, don't reinstall. That is one part. Second part is keeping in mind of such kind of batch things. They're saying after installing, ensure that the application is really installed, completely installed. I want you to give me a proof that the application is really installed. Okay, don't go with batch files or anything. I want to get the installation. So how do you achieve this feat? How do you do this? Okay, so instead of going back to the package and programs, I'm sure that now you know how to do it from the package and programs. So let me summarize quickly. In package and program, first thing what you will do is you will have a target, fixed target 500 missions. You will create a collection with all those 500 missions, right? So after that, what you will do, you might put a query there saying that installed application Team Center 2016. So it will check all the missions out of these 500, how many missions have Team Center 2016. If any one of them have, you want to exclude those from the final list, right? You will say, okay, exclude these machines from my collection. You'll have only 450 or 300 machines. On top of that, you'll target the application. Fine. So that's how you typically do using package and program, but there's no way to ensure that the application is really installed. You'll not get that information from package and program. Right, guys? So let me take how you will do it from the application point of view. So in application, you have something called detection method. Okay. So what this detection method will do is, whose application is Team Center? Anil's, right? Anil. So how do you identify Team Center is installed? In general, in your environment, how do you identify whether Team Center is installed or not? You said it will not create any add remove program entry also, right?
The shortcut will be there and it will show you in the all programs as well.
So there will be a shortcut and there will be under all programs, you mean to say under program files, you will have this Team Center 2016 exe.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the only way to identify whether the application is installed or not, right? At least that's how you
And
check.
it will create folder as well. There will a few folders will be created in the C drive itself.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that to identify whether Team Center is installed or not, if I give this task to Anil, what he will do is he will check for if the shortcut is available or not on the desktop. He'll go to C program files and see if Team Center 2016 exe is there or not, and corresponding some folders will be created. He'll check whether all those folders are created. If all of them are there, that means Team Center is installed. Right, Anil? Right, buddy? Okay. Now, what I will do in Sccm, I will ask I will ask such kind of questions to the application owner. So he'll tell, okay, if this is done, that means the application is there. Just like how I collected information from Anil. So then in the detection method, what I'll do is I'll create a detection method saying that check if shortcut is there. Check if program files / Team Center 2016 folder and another folder Team Center 2016.exe is available or not. Check for the exe. Okay. Check if those corresponding folders, there are some 3-4 folders, let's say, check if all those 3 folders exist. So like this, you can create a detection method in the application. So now what will happen when the application runs, the very first time, even before the application runs, it will first check all these three. On this 500 machines, it will first check all these three. It will check if shortcut is there or not, program files, under program files, Team Center 2016exe is there or not, and all the three folders are existing. If all of them meets, then it says, okay, I see that out of these 500 machines, some 20 machines have these conditions successful. That means on 20 machines, Team Center is installed, and 480 machines, Team Center is not installed. So now I'm going and installing on 480 machines, right? So by that, you have met this criteria. The criteria is ensure that you are not reinstalling. I'm not reinstalling. I have done a detection method. So with respect to, because of detection method, it has checked on all these 500 machines and found that 20 machines already have Team Center installed and 480 machines Team Center is not installed, and I'm only targeting those 480 machines. So that way, detection method help you to achieve the first part. Now, yeah, Amar.
Will it Manjunath here?
Yeah, Manju.
Will it check for the registry also?
Yes. If you have registry, good question. I really like the way you guys are thinking. Yes, it can check registry, it can check a service, a file, folder, Active Directory entries, right? Anything. Yeah, Amar, go ahead.
So these questionnaires which are there within detection method, is this custom questionnaires or will it be the default questionnaire? If it is default, can we create our own custom questions?
Sorry, I really didn't understand.
So in detection method, you said you can query or put in certain questions, right? Like check if the shortcut is there, check if the program files are there. So these are like standard querying methods, or these are custom methods?
Custom.
We can custom.
You can customize.
Okay.
So all that it will tell you, it will have an option to check under registry. So there is a template to check under registry. So you'll select the template or select the drop down box saying that, okay, I want to check the registry. Then you will write your own value there. Okay, you have to check this particular registry. Okay. So similarly, it will have under detection method, it will say that I can check the folder or file version. You'll say, okay, go ahead and check the file version, and then you will give the exact file path. It will only check that file path. So you can customize it. Right? Okay. So guys, are you clear with this first question? So this task we have achieved because of the detection method. Now, the second thing, after installing, ensure that the application is really installed. And just now Anil told me that if all these three are there, then that means the application is installed. So what Sccm will do is, before running the application, it will run the detection method. After running the application, again it will run the detection method to check if all these three conditions are meeting or not. If says all these three conditions are meeting, then it says, okay, after installing the application, now I see that a shortcut is there on that machine. I see that under program files TC 2016 is there, and I also see that three folders are existing. I'm not going with a batch file. I'm understanding really these three are there. That means the application is really installed. So only then it will come back saying that application is installed. Say suppose if a shortcut is missing or the program files is missing, then it will say that, okay, the application gives an exit code 0. However, when I detected, I couldn't find a shortcut. So to me, the application is not yet installed yet. So it will give a clear description why it is considering the application is not installed. And in the report, it will say that, okay, application is not installed. Because it might be installed as part of your batch file. Your batch file might have given an exit code 0. But when I really checked the machine, I did not find these things there. So I consider the application is not installed. So then you can troubleshoot why a particular shortcut is not created or why the folder is not created on that machine. Make sense?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Anil, any questions? So you all understood what I'm trying to say? Okay, so the detection method, if you see right from the beginning, all I'm talking about is advanced concepts like supersedence, the detection method, or application requirements. So everywhere it is trying to give a benefit either to the end user by installing the applications very quickly, or to the SCM administrator, instead of doing 10 different tasks, he can do only 2 tasks, or detection method to ensure the quality of the delivery what you're giving, right? So these are the different features which comes with application. There are multiple other features which comes with application. To highlight, I think in any interview, if somebody asks you why you need to create applications, then you can talk about supersedence, you can talk about detection method, you can talk about the requirements, and there is one more. This is very simple to understand. It will not take much time, and I'll explain a little bit. So if you understand, if you look at the broader perspective, why Sccm has come up with applications, you will understand it is only because of to give convenience to the end user, to the Sccm administrator, and making sure that the product delivered is quality, is having a QC as well. So this is kind of a quality check. It is ensuring that the application is really installed. Packages and programs, there is no way to check all these things, right? Let me go with the final example. So this final example, okay, this is the above one is called detection method. Final example, guys, give me one application name which requires some 3 to 4 applications to be installed first, or 3 to 4 prerequisites are there. Give me any of one application which has at least 3 to 4 prerequisites.
Informatica.
Perfect. Informatica. What are the prerequisites, Manju, for the Informatica?
.NET related tools should be there, and
Okay.
some ODBC connection linking,
Mm-hmm.
that. So in deep other things are there. I'm not much exactly sure, but it requires so many documents to be followed one by one.
Mm-hmm. So let's assume, let me take a liberty here and say that it requires VC++, .NET, ODBC, and it requires Silverlight. I'm just taking a liberty here and saying that finally, only then you will be able to install Informatica. Okay. So how many applications, how many dependencies you have? You have .NET, ODBC, VC++, Silverlight. After that only you can install Informatica. Now, how do you achieve this using package and program? Can anyone tell me in a package and program how to give these dependencies and then install Informatica? I think Anil can answer this question. Anil, go ahead.
It's the same thing, like at the time of like creating a package, the prerequisites will run first, and then Informatica installation will start.
So you'll select this run another program first, right?
Yes.
So run another program first, you will give, and then the actual Informatica will run. But out of these 4, which one you will give as run another program first? Because run another program first can take only one
Only one.
program. Yeah,
Okay.
there is only one program it can take. If you go to the programs that we have created the other day, software library, application management packages. Yesterday we created, where is that? Under miscellaneous applications, right? Adobe Reader. So if you go here, go to the properties. Okay, wait a minute, it's on the program side. Requirements, environment, advanced. Run another program first. When I select run another program first, all I can do is I can select one package and one program. If there is any package, right? For example, this is the package. I can select one package and one program. That's it. There's no way I can select multiple packages and multiple programs. So how are you going to achieve install .NET, ODBC, VC++ and Silverlight? Shall I tell you how I used to do in the
I will make it as a package, all these prerequisites. Can I make a one package?
You can
The
make
prerequisites.
you can make one package. Now say suppose this is one Informatica right now, but .NET is required for so many applications. ODBC is required for example, VC++ is required for so many other applications. So now what you'll end up doing is, just like for Informatica, there might be some 15 applications. So for every 15, all these applications, you will have .NET bundled together with some other application, right? You're getting my point. So you'll have multiple versions of .NET in your SCM console. You're saying, okay, install .NET and ODBC, VC++, Silverlight as a one package. And afterwards, for some other application, again it requires .NET and Silverlight, only .NET and Silverlight. You'll say, okay, .NET and Silverlight install. You'll create one more package. Tomorrow, some other application requires .NET and VC++. You'll create one more package. By that, what you are doing is, for each and every application, you are having multiple versions of .NET, multiple versions of VC++ in your console. Right, Anil?
Yes, Manu.
Okay. So I'm not denying what you said, because that's how people used to do it. What you said is true. That's how people used to do it. But they used to have multiple versions of the same application. Okay. What is the other way of doing it? You know what people used to do the other way? They used to have multiple nested run program first. That means, okay, in order to run Informatica, they will have Silverlight as run another program first. Inside Silverlight program, they'll mention that, okay, run VC++. Inside VC++, they'll mention run ODBC, and inside ODBC, they'll put run .NET. That way, what will happen? If Informatica has to run, it will trigger Silverlight. Silverlight will trigger VC++. Thereby, first .NET will install. After that, ODBC will install, then VC++, then Silverlight, and finally this. That means you are doing a nested run another program first concept, right? That's again tedious.
I have a query, or you can say suggestion. Maybe if I'm wrong, maybe you can clarify. What if these all can be clubbed together and made as a batch file, and that batch file can be, if able to point it from here, then all together it will run.
True, Manju. That's what Anil suggested first. So Anil also suggested the same thing, like why don't we create a batch file and have all these together, all the prerequisites together, and push them. So my point here is, yes, you can do that. But then if for Informatica, you need all these four. But say suppose there is some other application, XYZ application. And for that XYZ application, it requires only .NET, ODBC, and VC++. Then you have to create one more batch file for that, right? And tomorrow say some other application requires .NET and Silverlight. For that again, you'll create one more application. Thereby what's happening here is, every single time you're creating multiple versions of .NET, multiple versions of VC++ and Silverlight inside your console. Your console will be calling the same .NET multiple times, right? Or maybe you'll be having multiple versions of .NET. To avoid that, what can we do in application? That's what I'm going to tell you. You got my point, Manju?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we can do here in application, it's simple. As I told you, this option is very simple. You have something called dependencies. That's it. In application, you have something called dependencies, and you can give not only just one, you can give many. You can even give 99 dependencies there, one after the other. So here you have an option only to select one, right? Here you have an option only to select one. There you have a list wherein you can keep on adding 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. You can have 99 dependencies there, and also you can put a sequence saying that, okay, first this dependency should run, then this, then this, then this. So in applications, you can have multiple dependencies listed down in one application itself. So then what will happen? It will just call that application. In Sccm console, you will have only one .NET. You will have only one ODBC or one VC++. But in the application dependencies, you will be calling those applications, saying that, okay, first install .NET, then install ODBC, then VC plus Silverlight. Right? So tomorrow, if you have one more application, you'll have a different sequence in that application. But you're again calling the same application. You're not creating multiple versions of .NET and multiple versions of VC++. You're just calling them within the application and installing them in a sequence. So the difference between package and program and application is, package and program, there you can only give one application, one package, whereas in dependencies, in application you can give up to 99 dependencies. That way you can have.
I just confused when you said dependency and 99. So after when you mentioned dependency 99, after that I just confused.
Okay. See here, how many packages are you calling here? As run another program, only one package, right? You're able to call only one package here, right, Manju?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, in application, instead of calling one, you'll have an option to call 99.
Where is it available here, or you're just telling me to assume?
No, I'm not asking you to assume. When you open application, this is package and program, right? This is package and program wizard, what you are seeing. When I create application, you'll see in that, you'll have an option to create 99 applications there.
Okay, so you're going to show that, right, later?
Yes, today itself. Today itself, I'm going to show you that.
Yeah, that's what I was was getting confused that because this wizard you were showing and where those all
No, no, no.
multiple
This wizard is for package and program. What we created yesterday. This is a package. Now I'm going to create an application.
that's what I was getting confused where it
Oh,
is.
good that you have asked that. Okay, guys. So if you are clear, let me quickly create an application and show that all these 4 things what we are talking about in one shot. Are you guys ready for that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let's do this. So first of all, for that, I need to have one application. So let me quickly download an MSI. Give me 1 minute. I'll be on mute. Okay, yes. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah.
Manoj.
Cool. So let's create an application. So what we'll do, we'll go to applications. So in applications also similarly how we created folders here, we'll organize it into folders. So let me just have a miscellaneous apps folder. That is naming is up to you. Okay, I just created that miscellaneous apps. Then create new application. Did I select that? For some reason it got stuck. Let's give it a minute. There you go. Okay. So create a new application. So as I told you, if you remember my initial class here, initial first point, you can select exe, MSI, batch file, VBS and all that. Yep. So here you have MSI, Apex bundles, AppV applications, Windows Phone applications, right? App package for iOS, Androids, web applications. So everything you can select here. Okay. Apart from this, if you have any VB scripts or batch files, anything like that, you can select manually specify the application information. So in the next window, you'll have the option to select VB scripts and other things. Okay. So here I'm saying automatically detect info because I have a MSI, automatically detect MSI, browse, and the source you give Chrome, MSI, right? So next. So I've selected the Google Chrome enterprise.msi here. So the moment I say next, just observe this part. If you remember package and program, when we create package and program, you remember we have given the name of the package, we have given the version of the package, right? We have given the command line, what command line it has to install. You remember we checked /s all, and then we gave the command line and all those things. Now, here in application, you don't need to give any of that. The moment you give MSI, it will read that MSI and it will automatically populate the name, the version, the command line, everything. Let's see that. Okay, it says application information successfully imported. Say next. See, I have not given Google Chrome here, right? I have not given the installation program line msixcc/I google chrome.msa/q for silent installation. So all this it has automatically picked up. If in the MSI, if it also has software version or some other details like that, it will also pick that. So that depends on what information is there within the MSI. So if in the MSI, if you have whatever information is there, it will pick all those. So in this MSI, particular MSI that we have chosen, it doesn't have software version. Otherwise, it would have even picked that information. Right, guys?
So this will happen for the MSIs only, is it?
Not only MSS, anything you have seen there in the drop-down box, like iOS apps, Android apps, or Windows apps and all that. But if you are going for batch files, VB scripts or EXEs, then you will not get this information, because those are something that we are giving manually, because batch file will not have a standard format of name and everything. There will not be an attribute for it. For a script also there will not be an attribute for name and all. But MSIs, AppVs, Apex files and all this, they have a standard format. Because of the standard format, SCM is able to read it from there. You're getting my point?
Yes.
Okay. So now installation program is automatically created. I'll say next. Say next. Just that, I'm not selecting anything. I'm just going by a default application. I've just imported an MSI, selected browsed an MSI and said next, next, next. So let's see what it will create.
Manor, it also creates an uninstaller package also.
Exactly.
Application.
Exactly. That's the beauty of application. In packages, what you have to do is install program you have to create, uninstall program you have to create. Whereas in now the application is created, right? So if you go to the properties of it, just like in package you have programs, right? In application we call it deployment types, right? In package you have program, in application you have deployment type. So let me take you to the deployment type directly, and this is the MSI. When you double click and see, and inside that it says there's an installation program, there is an uninstallation program. So Amar, you remember you were asking about the product ID. I told just park that question for a couple of minutes, you will get to know it. So uninstall program, it has picked the product ID and it says this is how you need to uninstall this application. So you don't need to create an uninstall program separately for this application. You're getting my point? Now, what are the things we discussed? Let's go to those things first. The very first thing I've told you about requirements in today's class. Let me just take you there. First point is requirements. So where is requirements? Here you have find requirements. So in requirements, I told you that you can give 64-bit Windows 10 machine part of so-and-so OU, so that you don't need to give any query in the collection. So let's see how you can do that. When I click on requirements add, okay, it has condition. So in the condition, so you have all this OU, organizational OU unit, okay, number of processors, operating system. So say suppose I select operating system here, one of these. So I can select the operating system should be Windows 7, right? So this way one requirement is met. Then I'll create one more requirement. I'll go to the, what was the other thing I told you? Like for example,
64-bit.
64-bit, right? Actually, that information.
Can't we select it from the same option where we selected the operating system, Windows 7 we selected?
That's yeah, you can also do that as well. Let me do that and show it to you. Edit. You're right. Instead of this 32-bit, we can directly select only the Windows 7 64-bit. Yes, makes sense, right? So all Windows 7 64-bit are selected there. So operating system and the RAM, the processor architecture is covered there. Now we are talking about what's the other thing? The OU. I'll say OU. It should be one of the OUs. So if I have my, if I have OUs in my environment, so in Active Directory, if I click ID, browse, it is going to browse my browse my Active Directory. So in Active Directory, say suppose they are part of computers OU. In this case, I don't have France laptops, right? So if I say computers OU, say OK, So it will check if the machine is part of computers OU, only then it will add that. So this one more requirement that I've created. So with these two requirements, I have met Windows 7, 64-bit, and it is part of a particular OU. Guys, are you clear how to create requirements?
Yes, Manohar.
Sorry, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Anil. Who is asking the question, Anil or Amar?
I have a question, Manoj. So when we give this requirement, right, is there some option, like does it go in a priority that the operating system is checked first and then the OU?
No, there's no priority as such. And let me also tell you, see, requirements when we are giving, it is like it's not or, right? It's not like either operating system is Windows 7 or if OU is this is okay. It's not that kind. It is and, right? So each and every requirement has to meet, only then the application will proceed. So there, anyways, each and every requirement has to meet, then there is no point of priority. You're getting my point. If it is an or, then we can say, okay, at least if one is successful, then go ahead and install. Anyways, it has to check all the requirements, only then it has to go to installing the application. Then what is the benefit of having a priority there? You're getting my point, Amar?
Yeah, got it.
Cool. So requirements are done. Apply. Now what's the second thing we discussed about? So now no need to create any collection queries and wait. So this is going to query your machine right when deploying. It will check whether it is a Windows 10 or 64-bit or not. It is not checking the hardware inventory. So you have saved a lot of time here. Now next, we talked about, what is the second one? Supersedence. Is it supersedence what we talked here? Yeah, identify the older versions and then supersede with the latest version, right? Okay, so how do you do that? In the application you have supersedence here. You see supersedence tab. So when I click on supersedence, it says add superseded. The current application is Google Chrome. What is the superseded application it is asking? So if I have one more application here, I can select that application. If I have one more application, I can select that application and say that it is superseded. So for now, I don't have one more application, but the moment I select browse and select one more application, it says, okay, the old application is so and so, the new application is so and so, and you'll have a checkbox to uninstall it. So let's park supersedence for a couple of minutes. When I create one more application, I will be able to link it. So for now, okay, I'm just applying. Let's go with the third one and fourth one, and I'll come back to the second. So detection method. I told about checking the shortcut, checking program files and all these three folders. And Manju had a question if we can check registry, right? So let's look at it. Go to deployment type, detection method. Right, so by default it has created a detection method, like it will check if product code is there or not, because it's MSA, right? So because it is MSA, it is checking if the product code is there or not. So if you want to add new detection method, see, type file. So you can give the file path, for example, newer C drive, program files, x86 program files. Say suppose I'm just selecting any one application, right? So this is the program file path. This is the file or folder.
So for this,
Go ahead.
So for this, do we have to install the application on the system or no? Does it take the path? How do we take the path?
Perfect
question. Installed?
Perfect question. Good question. So what you can do is two ways. Either if you have Team Center installed on any machine, not only on your SCM site server, you can just connect to that machine. If you have Team Center installed on any test machine, you can say test connect. So it will connect to your test machine, and under that it will go to your you can select browse and select the program files. That's one way. Or if you don't have any test machine with that particular location, you just have it in your application owner gave you in a mail saying that you need to check this particular exe, then you can directly copy paste that location here. You don't need to browse it. So it is not mandated that the application needs to be installed somewhere. Manju?
Yeah, sorry, actually, I didn't catch the question and then answer.
Okay, the question here is, I'm browsing to my C program program files and I'm trying to identify this location, right? Team Center 2016.exe, right? So he's asking, so do you need to install Team Center on one machine? Only then you can browse this particular path. So what I'm saying is, either if Team Center is installed on any machine in your environment, you can just connect to that machine, because there you'll have all these shortcuts, you'll have the program files. You can just connect to that machine and browse to that exact exe. That's one way. If there is no machine with Team Center installed, then whoever has given you this condition, right, he must have given in a mail or a document. So you can copy it from the document, right, and directly paste it here, saying that, okay, check for this particular, under this path, check for this particular file. So you can even copy it from that and paste it here. No need to browse it. Make sense?
Okay, so we can trace the machine individually if we want to check over a network from here. That to uninstallation purpose both we can do, right?
See, currently we are not talking about install and uninstall, buddy. We are talking about only detection method. We are here.
That's what, like any detection for any part.
I didn't understand. See, basically the detection method concept is to check whether a particular application is installed or not. These are the three things should meet. If these three things are met, then we are considered that the application has installed, right? So where is uninstallation coming in picture?
Okay, maybe I was not thinking to ask another way. I went another way. Okay, sorry for that.
No. Is it clear for you now, or?
Yeah, it is clear. So was trying to ask something and went somewhere else.
Okay, no problem. Fine. So what we are doing here is we are giving a file. We can give a file, an exact file you can give, and then there are two ways of checking it. One is the file system setting must exist. That means even if this folder exists, if you see his request is, if three folders, there are some folder names, he'll give those folder names. If these folders exist, that means the application is installed. So you can say check if the folder exists or not. That means you will just select this radio button. Say suppose if your requirement is not the folders existing, your requirement is a file version to be exactly checked. Then what you can do, you'll browse, you'll go to that exact file version. Let me take any one file. I don't know, program files x86, or maybe we can connect to our test machine, right? Because we have Adobe Reader there. May test 01. Is May test 01 on? Yeah, it is on. Okay, May test 01, C drive, program files x86. We must be having Adobe Reader. Okay, let's assume that we are talking about Adobe Reader, because that's what the example we have, Adobe Reader, and I guess it will be under the reader. You will have the exe, Acrobat Reader 32.exe. Select Acrobat Reader 32.exe. Now it is checking the exe. I'm saying my point is not to check whether it is existing or not. I want to check the exact version. So I'll click this radio button. So it will say, okay, date modified. No, not the date modified. I want the version. Check the version. So it's okay. The version of this exe is 11.0.10.32. So now I'm selecting this as my detection method. So what will happen? It will check if 11.0.1.32, that particular exe is there under C program files x86 Adobe Reader particular folder. If it is there, that means the application is installed. If it is not there, then the application is not installed. So based on that, it will take appropriate action. What we discussed in the above example. So I can give a file version, right? Or I already showed you how to give a folder. Then what was the other requirement? Like shortcut. Shortcut is also again a file, right? You can directly point to the desktop. Apart from files and folders, what else we can give? His point was, can we give registries? Manju's point was, yes, you can select registry. You can browse to a registry path, HK local machine, software, and then you can select exact whatever is the location, you know. For example, this is the exact location. It's an example that I'm taking. Only when the usage count value is equal to 1, that means the application is installed. Or if the usage count value is equal to 0, then the application is not installed. Say suppose that's the registry that you wanted to check. Similarly, whatever the registry, you can browse and check for the exact value. Make sense, guys? Any questions here in the detection method?
Manohar, I've got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you mentioned about the versions. If I see multiple versions of Adobe Reader, like 8 and another version also, do we get the drop down and we can select it? Because I couldn't see the drop down.
Okay, let me go back here. So you're talking about this particular thing, edit class. Okay, what's the question?
Yeah. Value, in the value you have the version 11 dot this. So if I have multiple versions, do I get a drop down or I'll have to specify it?
No, Amar, see, basically you have selected a exe and this exe will have only one version. One exe cannot have multiple versions, right? So basically what you are trying to test here is under C program files x86, this particular exe is available and that exe version should be this. That is what you are trying to search, right, buddy?
Right. Okay. Got it. I was trying to see if it is getting discovered. I was just assuming. So
yeah,
I
got it.
Okay.
So let me slightly make a different example here. So say suppose if there is a machine wherein you have Adobe Reader 11, but it's not exactly this 32, maybe it is 36. So even in that case, what will happen? You'll have a reader 11.0 folder. Okay, and under reader you will have Acrobat Reader 32.exe, but when it checks for the version will mismatch. So that means that particular application is not installed. That's how SCCM's detection method will work. Say suppose if the application is not even Adobe Reader 11, if it is Adobe Reader 8, so here itself the folder itself will not be there. Adobe Reader 8 folder will be there. It will not have 11. That means even the folder level itself it is failing. So it will not even check for the file version. There itself it will fail. It will say that the application is not installed. 11 is not there. Right? So that's how the detection method will work. Yeah, somebody else was asking a question.
No, like I was telling, if as per his question, if there is another same with the same application with the other version also available, then maybe we'll have to select it another direct detection rule to detect, right?
Yeah, but yeah, you have to select another exe, that's true. But the case here is we are trying to identify if this particular application is installed or not. So we are not trying to identify with which if other applications are not installed or not, or whether if other applications are installed or not. The point here is we are trying to find only related to 11 whether it is installed or not. If 8 is there on the end user machine, then it will say that okay, 11 is not there, so application is not installed. I will install the application. You're getting my point. So the point here is to check for your application whether your application is existing or not is the point here. It's not about whether other applications are installed or not. Even if Adobe Reader 8 is there on that machine, that doesn't matter to you. You're only checking whether 11 is there or not. If 11 is not there, you're going to install 11. Clear, Manju?
My answer is just in related to his question.
Oh yeah, I got it. I totally understood Amar's point and your point. I'm just trying to explain you. Our point is to install whether 11 is installed or not. Our point is not to identify whether 8 or 9 is available. Right? I totally understood your question, Manju. You were trying to answer Amar's question. I got it.
So that I am also finding I am correct or not.
Yeah. So this is done. So I showed you what else you can do. Not only file system, you can also go to registry. You can create a Windows installer, product key, or for example, let me select anyone. For example, Google Chrome. So it will show you the version. You can check the version of it, or you can check. Wait a minute. In this particular MSI, it is not giving other information, but for certain MSIs, you can also check if it has other properties like manufacturer or the publisher of that MSI. You can even check that information here. That depends on the MSA. Whatever information is available on that MSA, that can be checked, right?
What is the top option is related?
Windows installer.
No. Radio button, the top one.
This one. So this is checking whether this product code is there or not. When see, it says the MSI product code must exist. So if the product code is existing, that means it is considered that application is installed. Or you want exact version equals to. So this is a granular, one more step deeper you are checking. Here you are checking only whether the product code is there or not. Here you are checking the product code should be there. Also the version should be equal to this. Only then I will consider that the application is installed. That's the difference between these two radio buttons. Clear?
Yeah.
So same thing goes with even the other one file what I showed here. So if Acrobat Reader 32.exe exists, if that is the only criteria you have, if the exe exists, that's it. Then you can select only the above radio button. You're saying even if the exe is existing, I consider that application is installed. But if you want to go to deep granular level, you'll say no, not the exe. Even the exe's value should be equal to this. It not only existing, the value should be equal to this. So then you'll go for the second radio button, right? So I assume that you guys are clear with this part, detection method part, right? Now we can go to the dependencies. So the same problem you'll get for dependencies just like superseded. We don't have multiple applications to show you, but still let me give it a try. So when you double click the deployment type, here you have dependencies. So when you click here, as you can see, you don't have in packages and programs, Manju, you remember you have only run another program first. There is only one package and one program you can select. Here you have add, and you can keep on selecting any number of applications, and then you have increase and decrease priority. That means you can have 10 applications here, 15 applications here, and just put them in a order, like first install this, second install that. So now you have multiple applications can be added here. You're getting my point? Say suppose I put this name as uh, frameworks or prerequisites, and inside this I'll keep on adding the applications. When I say add, it will take me to this root location. If I have any applications, I can select that application, right? And then if for the second application like that, I can select any number of applications and just put a priority saying that first install this, second install the other one. So I can put a sequence. Thereby it will install all those dependencies. Only after all the dependencies are installed, only then Google Chrome will install. You getting my point? What's the difference between
Yeah.
and this? Yeah.
Yeah, I have done it, this one many times while just doing myself, but I didn't know that what it is.
Okay, cool. Good that you know it now. So this knowledge will help you. Guys, are you clear with these three things? So let me just show you in the supersedence part quickly. So I'm saying okay, done. Let me quickly create one more application just to show you the supersedence part. We don't have any MSIs, right? We have Adobe Reader. So let me select manually specify the application information. Next. So manually I'm specifying here Adobe Reader. Okay, and I say next, add. I'm just going fast just to save some time. So here I'll get all the scripts. See, script installer is there, or whatever you want to add, right? So you can select anything. So I'll select script installer, right? Or if you have what is that, web application, I think in our case it's a script installer. So select script installer, say next, give the name as Adobe Reader install, right? Next, content location, you know where it is under // may SCCM1 may SCCM, and source, under source you have Adobe Reader. So this is the content location, and the installation program is browse, give this exe. Looks like it's stuck. So I'm just trying to create one more application real quick, and so that I can show you this. Yeah. So here you'll give /s all is the command line. If you want to give uninstall program, here itself you can give. No need to create one more uninstall program. If you know the uninstall command line to uninstall Adobe Reader, you can give it here. So next, detection method is mandatory. So give any detection method. So I'm just giving a dummy detection method for now. Okay, so the detection method for this is why dummy. Let's give the real one. Adobe Reader, Reader, Acrobat Reader 38. So the moment if this exe is there, that means the application is installed, right? And I can even go till this level deep, check the version. Fine. Okay, install it for system. Whether or not used is locked in. Let me do it real quick. There are no requirements. I don't want to put any requirements. No dependencies. That's it. Done. Close. Next. Next. Close. So now I have one more application called Adobe Reader. I have Google Chrome. Now in the Google Chrome, now if I go to the properties, right? So let's assume since I don't have two applications, right? Like Office 2010, Office 2013, I don't have that. So let's assume that Adobe Reader is nothing but our Office 2016. For our example purpose, for the lab purpose, please understand this way. Office 2016. In this case, I'm taking Adobe Reader as Office 2016. Okay, and I'm taking Google Chrome as Office 2010. So I want to replace Chrome with Adobe Reader, replace Office 2010 with Office 2016 because I don't have Office 2010 2016. I'm just showing you how it will work with Chrome and Adobe Reader. So what will happen is in Adobe Reader, supersedence, the current application is Adobe Reader, that is Office 2016. I need to supersede what? I need to supersede older application, which is Chrome. And here I'll select Adobe Reader install should be installed on top of Chrome. This needs to go, and before that uninstall. Now try to understand what's happening here. What is happening now is wherever Google Chrome is deployed, okay, it will uninstall Google Chrome and install Adobe Reader because of this supersedence link that we have set. So if you see here, wherever Google Chrome is installed, that is wherever Office 2010 is installed, it will uninstall that and then install Office 2016. Wherever Chrome is installed, uninstall it and install this. So this is what it means. Clear guys about supersedence?
Yeah. There one option was there, no? Do not replace. What it means, what it does.
Perfect. So if you don't want to replace that, so you don't want to replace this. So you want to, the older application to just be there. Means you don't want to change the application. Inside Google Chrome, you don't want to change the application. All you wanted is to just uninstall. Wherever this is found, just uninstall it. You don't want to install anything. Just uninstall. If that is found, uninstall. Don't install it. Then you'll select only this. If I want to uninstall that and install Office 2016, then I'll select that. That's the only difference. Clear, Manju?
Yeah, then in any cases like in the company, people say this software is harming to our machine, just uninstall it later at point of view, then we can do that, right? Like this way.
No, I think if the whole motto is to just uninstall an application, you don't need to even come till supersedence. If the whole motto is to just uninstall it, what you can do is you will create an uninstall
No,
method.
like
Okay?
no, like for taking as the same example, like software is there. When after upgradation, the another point we have created, since they don't want to get it. I mean, they want both version later and earlier, the upgraded one, the older one and the newer one. So the newer one which we have updated, that is getting affecting to our machines. Then in that kind of a scenario, I will ask.
No, no, even in that kind of scenario, this will not work because you are saying that you want to have keep both the versions on the client machine, right? If I understand correctly, you want to have Office 2010 and Office 2016 both on the end user machine, right? Manju, is that
Yeah,
the requirement?
yeah,
If that is the
yeah.
requirement, you cannot select do not replace and uninstall. Then what is going to happen? It is going to uninstall the older version here, right? So in that condition, what you have to do is don't uninstall it, and then do not replace. Then what is happening is it is only making sure that Google Chrome is still there. Then thereby you're not achieving anything, right? The application is still there. The older application is still there,
Okay.
right? But my suggestion, my point here is like whenever you wanted to, if your only motto is to uninstall an application, then you know how to do it. You select uninstall program and deploy it. And if your only motto is to supersede an application, you know what to do. You'll select this option and you'll say uninstall. So this is a superseding behavior, you know this. But when do you select this one? Just do not replace but uninstall it. This is when staging kind of thing. So say suppose you have older versions and you want to uninstall them even before installing, you wanted to uninstall them and you want to stage that all those machines. First of all, clean uninstall. Maybe some machines, what you know, after uninstall it requires a restart. You cannot directly uninstall that and immediately install. So some big applications definitely requires an after uninstall it requires a restart, so that all, if there are any traces, all the traces are removed. Only then after restart you wanted to install it. Then it has to be kind of a staging one after the other. It cannot be immediately. So you'll say, okay, wherever you find older version, just uninstall that older version and leave the machine as is. After that, you will restart the machine and then install the newer version. So this is a kind of a scenario where you want to just stage it after uninstalling before you install it. You getting my point, Manju?
Yeah, I'm getting it. I'm just trying to, I was trying to ask the question like to get on a via uses of practical. Just trying to analyze practical.
Mm-hmm. So no, do you have any question now, or is it clear?
No, nothing.
Okay, okay. Others, Amar, Anil, Sai, any questions here?
No.
Okay, so fine, guys. So my main motto is to explain these four things which are the new things for apart from packages and programs, because other things most of the times it will be same. So what I'll do now is, since you know the differences, in Monday's class I'll create an application from step by step. Okay, I'll show you like why I'm selecting this check, just like what we did for a package and program. We'll go through the application once again, but these are the key features. So in any interview or even when you are doing in production, you'll know why you need to create an application and why not package and program. So for that, this will help you. And when we really create an application, you'll get to know what are the other benefits apart from these highlights. What are the other benefits that we'll look into on Monday. And there is something called application catalog. Okay, so self-servicing applications like in your Play Store or for your iPhone Apple Store, you'll have all those applications there, right? These are apps are already published there. That's how you're downloading and installing those apps. So similarly, what will happen even in the companies, what you can do is you have something called application catalog. You can put all the applications provisioned there so that any user can go to that application catalog and download whatever application. They don't need to raise a ticket and wait for you to push that application. They can just go to application catalog and download from there. So that also we'll see how to publish application to application catalog and what are applications. So all that we'll see on Monday. Any questions, guys, or we are good to wind up for today?
And
Okay. So
From my end.
cool, good to hear that. So let me click on apply. Others, Amar and Sai, any questions?
Nothing from my end.
Okay, okay, 1 minute before I leave you guys. Deployment types, dependencies. So now I was telling about dependencies, right? Since at least now I have Chrome, 2 applications I can show you the dependency part. Add and then add. So now you can select other application. In Adobe Reader, I can select Google Chrome as a dependency, right? So like this, I can select one more now. It is allowing me to select multiple. Previously that wasn't the case, right? So now I can select multiple. Like that I can then increase or decrease the priority. Right, guys? Fine. So that's about the dependencies, requirements, prerequisites, and other stuff. Let me stop.
what what it does that increasing the priority.
Increasing and decreasing priority is the sequence. If you know the sequence, exact sequence, first VC++ should be installed, or first ODBC needs to be installed. That's a increase and decrease priorities. You are putting them in sequence. .NET should be first, then ODBC, then VC++. That's the sequence. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
In which
What if okay, when we put a increasing priority, if it fails, then it will go to the next one, or again, do we need to do any changes with that priority?
Great question. So since we have put the priority there, if it fails at the first one, it fails. It will not proceed further.
Then when how we will understand that what is running and which one is taking?
No, that you will get in the log file. So in the log file it says application failed due to dependencies. And when sorry?
No, we are setting a priority way, I'm asking.
No, priority you're setting based on the application behavior. See, for example, in order for ODBC to run, if .NET framework needs to be there first of all, so you have to put .NET as the first priority. Because if you put ODBC and then .NET, maybe .NET is required for ODBC. So first of all, .NET. That is based on what is required. The priority that you
just like
document.
just actually want to ask, like only one application at a time, only one time we can set a priority, or more than that one application we can set a priority?
You can set, see, priority, when I say decrease priority and increase priority, basically the application will move up and down. That's it. In the console, what I've shown you, when you select decrease and increase priority, it is moving up and down. So either you will put in a proper sequence. This is only to move the application up and down, buddy. You got that point, right?
Yeah, like that's what I was trying to ask. Like only this is applicable for only one time, or more than one application we can set? Like that I was trying to ask.
More than one application. So wait a minute, let me select Chrome. So what I'm saying here is, if I have one more application, right? So when I say decrease priority or increase priority, this application will go down or above. So any application you can move, you can select any one application. If you have 15 applications, you can select any one application and say increase or decrease. So that this is allowing you to put them in a sequence, whichever sequence you want them to install. That's it.
Okay, but now it's not this. It's not appearing. You have selected, is it?
Yeah, because there is only one thing. There is no priority. Priority comes when you have more than one. Right?
Okay. Okay.
The moment you have one more application, you will get the priority. Okay.
Okay. Increasing priorities to set the priority. So what is again decreasing priority?
Nobody. So what I'm saying, say suppose you have 3 applications here. Manju?
Yeah, got the point for increasing priority.
No.
Decrease.
That's what I'm telling. That's what I'm telling. Say suppose there are 3 applications here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to move Google Chrome as the third application. Then you decrease priority.
Okay.
So Google Chrome will go down. If you want to increase, there is one more application called .NET. You want to move it up. Select that and say increase priority. It will move up.
Okay.
It will just move up and move down.
Okay. Got it.
Right? Cool.
Manju, it's just like a boot sequence we set up, right? Like a CD-ROM, hard drive, USB, network drive, like this.
Yeah, got it.
Cool.
Yeah, because I see this application, this option many times, so didn't get actual clarity. Why increase, decrease? Already we set as increase, means again why to decrease?
Yep. That is just to set the sequence, in which sequence the application needs to be installed. That is for that purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
So any questions, guys? Okay. So just give me 1 sec. I'm stopping the recording.